What should Christians do when they feel anxious? Today, we're continuing our series on anxiety. And if you haven't seen it, check out the video we made last week, kicking it off. This week, we're exploring what the first thing we should do when we feel anxious. And here it is. Invite God into our anxiety. Hey, God, come on in. When we hear sermons or read devotionals about anxiety, we hear that it's a sin. And because of this, we tend to push it away. But we know what happens when we push our feelings away. It doesn't help, and it makes things worse. The thing about anxiety is that it's a symptom. It's not the root cause itself. We can't just stop feeling our anxiety and move on with our day. So why are we inviting God into our anxiety? We invite him into our anxiety because he knows us better than we know ourselves. If anxiety is a symptom of something deeper, then we need his help to find out what that something deeper is. When we feel anxious, he isn't looking for an opportunity to make us pay for our sin. He's a loving father. He wants to lead us into the abundant life that Jesus promised us. So anxiety isn't something to be pushed away, but instead something to investigate with God's help. And here's 3 practical steps on how to do that. First, we want to recognize our anxiety. That might sound simple, but in our busy, hurried lives, it can take us a while to realize we're anxious. If you don't know why you feel a tightness in your neck and shoulders or have an upset stomach, that might be anxiety. The more we begin to pay attention to our body and our emotions, the quicker we'll be able to recognize our anxiety. Once you do, celebrate that fact. That's a good thing and not always easy to do. Sometimes, as a part of noticing my anxiety, I'll say to myself, either out loud or in my head, I feel anxious. This helps me realize what's happening and why my body is not feeling great. Step 2, explore your anxiety. I'm going on an adventure! After we notice our anxiety, we want to explore it. This is a great time to stop and pray. Ask God to help you understand why you're feeling anxious and to show you the necessary steps to move forward. The best time to explore your anxiety is now or soon. What this means is the sooner you investigate your anxiety, the more you'll be able to learn. Sometimes I'm not able to explore my anxiety right when I recognize it, like if I'm in a class or a meeting. In that case, I'll try to come back to it within 24 hours. So how do we actually explore our anxiety? What does that even mean? I think the 2 best ways to explore your anxiety are to journal or talk through it with someone you trust. Ask investigative questions like, why am I feeling this way? What could be causing it? Is there a lie that I'm believing that I need to replace with the truth? Remember, anxiety is a symptom. And when we ask these investigative questions, we're looking for the root. When we find the root, we can begin to develop a solution. The more we investigate our anxiety, the better we'll become at finding the root cause. And you might not always be able to find that root cause, and that's okay. Understanding our anxiety can take a while, especially if we're just beginning the process or if we're trying to understand an anxiety we've dealt with for a long time. And finally, step 3, look for patterns. Do you feel more anxious around specific situations or people? Why might that be? For me, when I'm in this specific situation of budgeting my money for the long term, that is when I feel a lot of anxiety. When you recognize a pattern, take that to God in prayer. Ask him to help you see how to deal with this in a healthy way. Come up with a plan for what you'll do next time you're around that specific situation or person. Okay, so today we learned that anxiety is something we want to invite God into. Some practical first steps when we feel anxiety are to notice it, investigate it, and look for patterns. In studying this, I learned so much about anxiety, and I hope you have too. If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button and share it with a friend. Over the next 3 weeks, we're going to be taking a look at 3 different sources of anxiety and how to respond to them. So make sure you subscribe so you can see those videos. Bing!